Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of McMillan and Morrow. I'm Dr. Sean McMillan. This is my co-host, Rich Morrow. I don't even think I said that the last episode. But anyway.
I don't think you did either. It's okay.
Hey people, good to have you back. Thank you for tuning in. It's always an exciting time around McMillan and Morrow, and today is no different. No, it is not. So, settle down, settle in, take your shoes off, get yourself something to drink, and let's have an exciting time. And Will, why do I keep calling you Will? Oh, because we were talking about Will Smith the last episode. Rich.
Oof. It's a good thing my name's on the wall. You might forget.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I know you know me.
Will guide us. We were talking about Will Smith the last episode, and it's still in my head. All right.
So we're going to start things off a little differently today than we typically do.
Okay.
So you know how we have our urban dictionary segment typically?
Yes.
Well, we're going to do something different. We're going to do a Webster New Edition segment. So Webster is always adding new words to the dictionary. And we got some that you might be surprised to hear.
Okay.
Let's see if you can guess what. I think you definitely know this first one. What do you think the Webster definition of simp is?
Simp?
Mm-hmm.
Like a simpleton?
I don't know.
I don't even know what a simp is.
Really?
I don't think so.
I'm surprised. You be on TikTok, you don't know what simp is?
I've heard it used, but I've not discovered.
Context clues, Doc.
You didn't give me any context clues.
I'm saying, you've heard it.
Oh. Yeah, but those idiots don't.
You don't think they're a good context?
They don't use.
Okay, let's see if I can use.
They say everything is either crazy or weird.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Let's see.
That's weird.
So I'm going to give you an example in a sentence if I can just make one.
Thank you. Little help.
He showed up to her job with coffee and they're not even dating. He's such a simp.
Simpleton.
Okay. So is that what... I don't know what simpleton is. So I've never heard of somebody use it.
Simpleton.
Okay, so yeah.
That means like a lame.
Okay. To show excessive devotion to or longing for someone or something. The urban definition, a man who puts the hoes before the bros.
Okay.
But basically, yeah, somebody who be doing the most. The dudes that's on your favorite Instagram girl or guys' comments, just fangirling and fanboying and
What's the
saying
official
that they do
definition
whatever.
of simpleton?
I've never heard simpleton use this.
Simpleton, I just generally like you aren't that intelligent.
I thought that was
Is
just
that
kind of
what it
like
is?
a
Just somebody who's kind of
Does it
dumb.
mean intelligent?
Yeah, it's lack of intelligence. A simpleton is like a
You
lack
just
of
simple.
intelligence.
Lack of intelligence, right?
Yeah, foolish or
That just reminded me of when I was
person.
younger. That used to be kind of a diss to
a simpleton
somebody.
can
People
be
used
a
to call
simp.
people simple.
Yeah.
Hold on. Gullible.
Gullible. Yeah, so it kind of there's
Simpleton's
correlation.
close,
There's correlation, but simp in modern
I
parlance.
just went to college,
Yeah. It's kind of a modern
so I
definition.
know whole words, not just simp.
Well, this is a new one in the dictionary. It's a whole
Simpleton.
different word.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I feel like simp kind of
like,
relates a little bit more to a girl and a guy's relationship as opposed to simpleton is just somebody's lack of intelligence. It's just-
Yeah.
But this is like a
But simp
fawning
usually is in
adoration.
relation to, someone of the, that you're attracted to or that you long for, that you
Oh,
want.
it's just extra about
Exactly.
about
Too
he-
much.
He's a simp. So
Willing to do
let me
anything.
ask, where does it come from?
Kids, basically,
Where did they get it from?
probably social media and seeing people.
Where did they get it from? Some rap song or something?
No, I think it was just a word that came out. Somebody said it, probably that's popular.
You're a simp?
Yeah.
He's gonna appreciate this. The word simps, way back origins are connected to the word simpleton, so it is derived from simpleton.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
So they just.
So he was
shortened
right.
it. Damn it, Doc.
So right that we
You
were
liking
wrong.
what you see? Everything
We just got schooled on the word.
Ooh,
Damn.
This I don't know.
hey! Shout out to Chris Brown.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
what-
dressed like him today. This
You
some
do
something
kind
he
of
would
look like
probably
Chris
wear.
Brown today.
That's how he be dressing.
Nice shirt.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Like
Shut up.
the jeans. You got a whole thing going.
I'm trying, Dog.
Look nice.
Gotta uphold the brand,
If I was a brand person, I would have you
Yeah,
represent my brand.
I appreciate that, Doc.
Yeah.
I kind of do that already.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, like clothes. I mean, clothes. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have a brand, but I mean,
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I would put you in mind.
Anybody else out there, you want me to help represent your brand?
That's what I was.
Holla at your boy.
There you
I
go.
got it.
Did a commercial, people.
Hey. So, next word.
Yes.
Bussin'. I feel like all black people know this one. They
That's-
put this in the dictionary for real?
Yeah, this is
that
all
sex?
going in
No
now.
way. Look at us taking over.
Is that sex?
Really, Doc?
What is busting?
Oh my gosh.
Somebody be. It's not sex?
I almost don't even feel right having to explain this to
No,
you.
you gotta explain this. I don't know what this is. I'm not. Whatever.
Okay, so the Webster definition is extremely good, excellent, especially delicious or tasty. Like if somebody
Bussin'?
eating something, if you eating something, it's like, oh, this bussin'.
Oh, I never. Where is that
Oh
from?
my gosh.
What?
From
What?
I've been saying it
bursting
my
or
whole
busting.
life.
What bottom part of some country town does that come from?
Black people say it too.
Not no black people I know. I have never heard anybody say
It's
bussin'.
bussin'. Like you
No.
ain't never heard nobody say the food was bussin'?
You heard of this?
Yeah, definitely.
That's 'cause you come
it's
from
pretty
a country-
popular.
Everybody use it though. People in Chicago,
Yeah.
people in New York, people in LA, people
Never heard
in
of it.
Florida.
I've used it a few times myself.
That's
just-
bussin'?
I always say it. If some food is fire, people even ask me like, "It's bussin'?" Yeah, bussin'.
Where does it come from?
Bussin' out the what's the name? I don't know.
Like bustin', but
Like-
bussin', they just kind of.
Yeah, no, I'm not familiar.
Tyler put the Urban Dictionary definition as something annoying white people say on TikTok when they're desperate for views.
Is that white people use it?
Yeah, they started using it after they heard enough
Yeah.
black people saying
But
it.
we appropriated
Yeah,
it.
we've said it enough where I'm actually shocked that it's in the dictionary now because I really was just kind of like a.
I apparently live under a rock. 'Cause
Yeah, it's almost like how people used to use the word dope growing up, or
I know dope.
I know, but it's like we've used that in our culture so much that it's almost like just a universally accepted word now. Bussin' is like
I've
that
never
too.
heard bussin'.
That's surprising to me.
Bussin' is like the new word for what we used to say. Well, something's fire.
Like that's fire.
That's
same,
fire.
same.
I like fire better. I don't like bussin'.
Bussin' is usually only in terms of food, though.
You sound
Yeah,
country.
exactly for food.
Yeah, kind of.
That's bussin'.
Maybe that's where I've heard it most was Florida. Then
Well, that's bussin'.
it's bussin'.
You eat that chicken, it's bussin'.
You ain't gotta say it like that.
That's the way it
It's
sounds.
just bussin'.
It's bussin'.
Bussin' out the what's the name?
No, I thought it was sex. You know what I thought it was? I'm bussin'.
So it's the African American vernacular English in reference to dancing, as in busting a move.
No.
Yeah,
What
no.
next word?
Thirst trap. Obviously, you know that one.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, so should we not even go into that? Should we go to the next one?
I want to hear
wanna
his
hear what I think
his
What do you
immaculate
think?
definition.
Thirst trap is
It's okay. It's a guy with a bunch of
Or girls.
shirtless- I'm getting to the girls.
okay.
It's a guy with a bunch of shirtless photos with a nice with
Whatever.
abs. Or it's a woman with big boobies and she got like a bikini on and they just show their assets endlessly
Yeah,
just to suck you in.
yeah. All the thirsty people just
You know-
suck them in and trap them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what
You
it is.
know, she's purring her lips. You know, the makeup is perfect.
Yep, they're just trying to attract
Cleavage
people.
is
They know what they're
showing.
doing. They know what they're doing.
You know, the buttock. Thirst trap.
Yeah, what they trying to do to just get followers. They just trying to get people to watch and see what they doing.
Are you a thirst trap?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Rich.
Not no more. I used to be. I'm not gonna lie.
About to say,
Yep.
you come on,
I
don't
used to be.
tell the truth and shame the devil. Come on,
I used to be.
confess. If you confess your sin,
I am letting you know. I have
that
had
is faithful
plenty of
and
thirst
just to
traps in my
forgive you
day. A lot of them are
cleanse you from all
archived.
unrighteousness.
A lot of them are archived on my page now, but I have
Everybody,
maybe
right
posted
now,
a thirst
go
trap
to
or two.
Rich Morrow's Instagram page. What is it?
Rich TV
Rich
216.
TV, and just go all the way down,
Don't go too far.
and you will see the thirst traps. Okay, this guy used to thirst trap.
I was in my modeling phase though, so I was modeling mostly.
A couple of those photos,
now he's role
people.
modeling.
There's some cheeks,
Yeah, we gotta.
some butt cheeks in some of these photos. Come on, ladies, I'm trying to help you.
It is what it is.
Run, ladies. What is it again?
Rich TV 216.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
See, look at that.
Here we
Ooh,
go.
steamy
Here we
eyes.
go.
Steamy, smoky eyes.
Oh, God.
Look
Smoky
at him just
eyes.
showing it.
Oh, man.
Trapping people.
It was not intentional, but that's how you book jobs as a model. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Sex sells.
You say it like it was a long time ago. You're doing it right there. That's a couple weeks ago.
Thirst trapping.
That's not a thirst
That's
trap.
a
I was
thirst
showing
trap.
off my fit.
Showing off your fit.
It was a nice fit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Trapping.
I wasn't trapping.
You should be brought up on charge.
What they say? They say it ain't tricking if you got it.
What? Who says that?
Man, we got to get you out more, Doc. We got to get you out more.
I like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn a lot of stupid stuff. Apparently,
No, like
Bussin'.
some of these words, though, I'm surprised. Like even your friends don't say some of them. Like I bet you Pastor Jamal definitely know.
bussin'.
He know bussin' and he knows simp.
But he lives in Atlanta, so he probably
know all of them.
Oh, this food is bussin'.
bussin'.
We gonna go to the soul food place.
It's bussin'.
Bussin'.
Everything in there probably gonna be bussin'.
You people, if you ever hear me use the word bussin' in public, I give you all permission to slap the hell out of me. Okay, just slap me, because I've obviously lost my mind.
You know, it could also probably mean the process of taking the bus. We bussin'. How you getting there? We bussin' it.
Oh.
That's some black people would say for sure. Might have just made up a new one. Hey, you ready to go to break?
I'm pleased.
Let's go to our first break. We're going to be right back.
So confused right now.
TGIF.
Jason Derulo is speaking out against sexual harassment claims.
I sit here before you deeply offended.
Live and interactive.
I agree with Miss Hollywood in the chat. She says he's reading a teleprompter.
Listen, I know bad acting when I see it because I've done it. I'm deeply offended.
I'm gonna give you an Angela Bassett deeply offended, and I'm deeply offended.
Oh.
Yeah. Come on, Oscar.
And I'm deeply offended.
Guilty.
On Fox Soul.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
No one does nosy better than me. Photos. We found 378 photos.
He good what he do, because I don't know how he found that.
These are years of snooping, okay? I know you nosy too. Head over to Nosy where you can watch full episodes of The Karamo Show and be nosy with me.
Welcome back, everybody. He's putting his headphones on. I've absconded control. I don't have time for these people. They're you know what I'm saying? And we're back. So there you go. You with me? You got your headphone thing on?
I'm Gucci.
Aaron's gonna let us
You know what
when
Gucci mean? I'm Gucci.
I know what Gucci means.
Okay. How you know that and you don't know bussin'?
Because I'm from New York, and we don't talk like that.
That's crazy, dog.
We don't talk like that. We don't bust it.
First of all, New Yorkers, let's not get into how New Yorkers talk.
Yeah, we have our own way.
You definitely got your own
We
way,
have our
son.
own way. You know what I'm saying, B?
She never. What's the New York Gucci?
Yo, are you dead ass
His
right
Gucci.
now?
That's New York, yeah. Okay, ready? Hey, everybody, we're back. We're going to do some videos. We got our technology on. And
we got our technology on.
Yeah, these are our technologies.
The future.
The future. Headphones.
Tax dollars.
You know what I'm saying?
This is where our tax dollars are going.
So
guys.
this is a video apparently, and let's watch it.
I love our shit.
Story time. She never even knew her shirt had a hole. Lot of style. Time. With this final bag, she had completely disposed of the body.
On my cover.
Story time. The receptionist's dark secret was that the computers were only used for Minesweeper.
How did you know?
Story time. One of these men forgot to check their flies. That man was me. These three were fine. Story time. No matter how fast he ran, he could not escape the demon, but he would not let his soul be taken today. Story time. The woman was alone, but she seemed to be haunted by ghosts of her past.
You're haunting me.
Story time. As he squeezed the melons, he pictured them as the hearts of his enemies. Story time. The man knew exactly what to do to embarrass his son. Story time. He looked out of the field of beheaded warriors, and in his hands he held the head of the Pumpkin King. He had won. Story time. The man's butt scratching was complete. Dude, what? It was delightful. True. What? Story time. The two were models, and they loved to strut their stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
He used to make vines. I remember his face.
Oh.
He's been doing that for a long time, apparently. Now he's upgraded to doing it on TikTok. Good for him. Got no opinion on that one. Like I said, you were probably going to hate that. How long would it have taken? How long would it have taken you to acknowledge him if he came up to you talking about some random narrative?
I don't know. But you know what I did think was interesting in that? And again, I think some of those were staged.
Yeah.
But in the ones that weren't, you get to see how people are willing
to play along.
To play.
Yeah.
The playfulness.
You saw the kids and some of them.
Yeah, you know, to sort of act, right? Because we all played when we were kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think
in a world.
Yeah. So
where
wow.
Philosophical glasses and black shirts combined. We have Doc. The last airbender. How would you narrate your life? I don't even know.
Super Sean.
Sean. Philosopher by day.
Sean
trap by night.
Male stripper by night.
Stripper.
What would your superhero name be?
I don't know.
McFly.
I don't know what
it would be Bussin'.
Bussin'.
McBussin.
Dr. Bussin'.
McBussin'.
McBussin'.
What is happening on this show?
Don't matter. Don't matter.
I'm
We do what we
confused.
want.
All
We need to go to this next
Yeah, we're going to
video.
go to number 6.
Another video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got one more.
People,
Brace
everybody,
yourself.
everybody watching.
No, y'all, can we talk about it? Can
I'm,
we
I'm
please?
not responsible.
This is pretty much how every episodes go.
It is
Every
pretty much
episode goes.
not.
So if this is
Oh, I've actually seen this video.
Oh, well.
Play it.
And not everyone has.
First of all, we know not everyone.
Okay, but let's take a moment to
You got the
discuss. Let's
glasses.
take a moment to
I
debrief. Let's take a moment to
You
unpack.
You got them same
So I'm not
glasses,
go-
don't you?
Get a little ahead of itself, huh?
Don't you have them same glasses?
Sarcasm.
What do you do?
Throw your shoe.
Tyler's been on it lately.
Try to be a little smart over there.
He be having his moments.
I know.
Please don't throw your shoe.
But you gonna get slapped. That's what's gonna happen. We ready?
No, y'all, can we talk about it? Can we please talk about it? Let's take a moment to discuss. Let's take a moment to debrief. Let's take a moment to unpack. So I'm not really understanding why they're not telling y'all. Like, we all know that the world is behind, like, you know, globally, like, you know, because of the pandemic and stuff. But I don't understand why they're not stressing to y'all how bad it is. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but these kids are... I'm going to just say this. I teach 7th grade. They are still performing on the 4th grade level. I don't care how you flip it, turn it, swing it, swindle it. They still performing on the 4th grade level. Ain't nobody talking about how they just keep moving, passing them on. They just keep passing them on, 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 passing them on. I can put as many zeros in this grade book as I want to. They're gonna move that child to the 8th grade next year. Ain't nobody talking about that. Why they not talking about that? Why they not telling y'all that y'all... And why don't y'all know that y'all kids not performing on their grade level? Why y'all don't know this? Why y'all don't know?
Yeah, listen. Let's take these off because this is getting on my nerves.
Here we go.
And that's it for the video.
I feel like Doc gonna have a lot to say about that one.
You think so?
Yep.
No, I saw that video before.
Yeah.
From him, and I saw a bunch of reactions that people had, teachers,
Oh, teachers were responding?
Agreeing with him.
Yeah.
Folks who were in the classroom on the front lines. And it goes back to the conversation that we had on the show in terms of kids not being able to read.
Yeah.
And one of the things I said on that show, and I just to reiterate in response to this, is that sure, it's the teacher's job to facilitate education and to sort of to help make sure a kid can read. But it may not be their responsibility.
It's the household.
It's my responsibility as the parent, and I think he's right. How do you not know that your kid is reading on a 4th grade level? How's that possible?
I think it's probably a lack of care. I'm sure you got to know at some point. You ask them to read something, or you could usually tell by the way someone speaks how much they read.
Let me say, you can tell by whether or not you're actually doing homework with them.
True. Because
if you're in the 7th grade, I'm still probably doing some homework with you.
Yeah.
No,
You are. You as
Sean
a parent.
McMillan was still doing homework.
Yeah. Okay.
You in the room.
I was gonna say algebra started in 7th grade.
Well, I wouldn't ask her about
that's
for somebody else because you don't do math. But we're working together.
Yeah, you're right.
And there's no way I would not have known.
But they still send out report cards and stuff, right?
Sure, you can send them.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point too.
I think the point that he's making is he's making a twofold point. The first point is we have an educational system since No Child Left Behind, Leave No Child, whatever it's called, with the Bush administration that prioritizes test over actual learning,
over proficiency,
right? And then the other, it's how many kids can we graduate,
as opposed
and we teach you to be able to take the test because it's about numbers, not about quality. And the other point that he's making is that parenting sucks in this country with respect to education. And he's a black teacher, so I'm sure he's probably talking about majority black students, and we got to do better.
I agree.
I mean, that sounds so cliche, but
it's the reality of
what
the
else can I
situation.
come up with?
Yeah.
Is that, but now we live in a time where parents don't value education because most of them don't have it.
That's what I was going to say.
And most of them aren't reading at grade level.
And we were talking about that in the other episode. There's a lot of adults functioning at a 6th grade level of learning. And to think that people are in society responsible for other human beings and they're only proficient at a 6th grade level says a lot.
Do we really want to turn the country over to people who only have a high school education?
Hell no. I ain't even getting my car.
Because we talked about this earlier. This cord is getting on my nerves. What is going on here? We talked about you got a new phone.
Yeah.
Right? And you know what I noticed?
What's that?
Most of the people that I encounter on social media could never build that phone.
Of course not.
Now, they can use it better than the people who made it.
Yeah.
But if you took that phone apart, took all the pieces apart, and said, now, here you go, social influencer, put this phone back together and make it work. Most of them couldn't do it.
You're right.
Do we want to turn the world over to people who can't build anything? Who can only
use,
entertain, and be pretty?
But there are roles in that. This is just me pushing back a little.
What role?
Is that, I mean, we talked about this before. Some people are producers and some people are consumers.
Yes. In a normal, logical world. But we have a disproportionate amount of people who are consuming.
You're right. Sheep.
And they don't want to go to college. They don't see the value of it. There's too much debt. It shouldn't be that expensive. Well, I agree, it's expensive. It's probably too expensive. But I'm not.
It don't mean you shouldn't go educate yourself. That's for sure.
And you shouldn't think that a high school education is enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Y'all are going to be marrying people who just graduated from the 12th grade. That's it.
And truth be told, I think a lot of college for me wasn't really about what I necessarily learned as much as it was how much I matured and grew up and learned how to learn.
But that's all of it.
It was the entire
That's
experience
all of
of actually growing around other people and actually being able to see other people's process, how they function.
All of it. It's what happens in the classroom. It's what
outside
happens in
of
the
it,
dorm.
everything.
It's what happens on the basketball team. All of it. Is college. What makes college valuable is not just the educational function. It's the emotional and psychological development where you are out of the nest, and you have this intermediate point where you can you develop as an individual, as an adult. We're turning the world over to people who don't have that.
Yeah.
They've only ever lived with their parents, or they've lived with their other social media influencers in the social media house.
Yeah. And it's crazy because we're not even talking about a college level education at this point. We're talking about high school still, where you do have that nest that you're in. And if that nest isn't nurturing you into being in a habit of learning and fending for yourself and standing on your own 2 feet, when you're put out in that position into the world, a lot of things can happen that you're not prepared for. And I see a lot of people go through it every day in different ways. I think I've gone through it myself, but luckily for me, my mom made sure that I went to a school that made me value learning. I didn't have a choice.
I saw an article in the New York Times the other day that said people go to college live longer.
Really?
Yeah. And the article also said that people who go to college not only have greater incomes, but have a greater quality of life.
Do you think it's because they learned how to survive through those periods when it mattered most?
Well, any number of reasons. Any number of reasons. The point is, if you can't read at grade level in the seventh grade, you're not going to get to college.
That's why that was my point before. Yeah.
And if college is still determining the standard of living for people, then there's a whole generation that if you're not really good looking or really fit and you can't be a thirst trap, what are you going to do? Because what I'm discovering is that a lot of people who were trying to make a lot of money on TikTok and YouTube are realizing you're
not what you thought you was.
And you can't, they've structured it now where you can't make as much money as you used to be able to make.
True.
So a lot of them are now working at Walmart. And they're Uber eating.
Getting humbled.
And I'm not knocking any of that. I'm just saying reality is kicking in. And one of the things reality is kicking in and is saying is that maybe, unless you have a specific set of skills. So, for instance, if you're a sound engineer, right? I don't know if you need to go to college. Because
you could probably develop that.
Because you have a specific skill that is unique and needed.
It's like a trade.
It's like a trade. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have a trade or an education, you better hope those breasts sit up.
Just right. You better hope your cheekbones ain't too low.
You better hope that butt is bouncing and jiggling for a long time. And you counting on something that's going to change on you.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
Not to mention the fact that you've not developed your humanity. No wonder you're so argumentative. No wonder you're so depressed. No wonder you're so full of anxiety.
With people.
You haven't developed your humanity.
Yeah.
What a disaster.
You're a disaster.
This is a disaster.
You can't be ready for every little disaster, but you can prepare for a big one. Make an emergency plan today.
Welcome inside the black box.
So you guys ready to have some fun?
Forget the acting studio. I'm here with you guys.
Creativity will find its way. It doesn't matter what the ethnicity is.
Television and movies are the mediums of stereotypes.
Just because we all have the same color don't mean we have the same experience.
Your uniqueness is your greatness.
Welcome inside the black box.
Every Monday on Fox Soul. TGIF.
Lil Wayne was not pleased with the reveal of his wax figure. He tweeted, "Sorry, Wax Museum, but that bleep ain't me."
Live and interactive.
Brittany T said, "That ain't Lil Weezy, that's Lil Asthma."
Hold on, caller. You got to see what Poppy said. Hell, the wax figure looks cleaner and better than the real Lil Wayne.
Serving up all the tea.
You so messy, Q. You are.
Join the chat on Fox Soul.
Y'all don't make the comments. I just read them, honey.
Oh, God.
What do you think the most bougie state in the United States is?
This is black bougie or white bougie? There's a difference.
McMillan and Morrow.
I'm not black bougie. I'm China.
You just bougie.
I'm just too poor.
Every Thursday.
Listen, if I had more money, I would be so bougie.
You black bougie adjacent. All your friends are black bougie.
Exactly.
On Fox Soul.
I'm in the same boat.
I'm living vicariously through them. This was going on long before COVID.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Long before COVID. Mm-hmm. So COVID may be to blame for some of it.
Just a small fraction.
But not most of it. Most of it is just, how we value education and our participation in it. We found out during COVID that schools are really the biggest daycare system in America.
Woo.
And most people use schools to watch their kids.
You're right. They don't care what they do.
For most parents in this country, the value of a school is that the kid is safe somewhere and I can go to work.
It's extended daycare after kindergarten, huh?
And that shouldn't be what it's about.
Yeah.
So that's what COVID taught us.
Wow.
I think this. On the culture side, we did education. On the culture side, what we're doing right now has to fail in order for it to change.
That's the only
Enough
way.
people have to try to be social media influencers and end up working at McDonald's.
Get burnt out.
And then come on and tell the rest of us,
That
you
ain't
know
it.
what? It ain't what I thought it was going to be.
That ain't it, y'all.
Okay?
Yeah.
It ain't what I found out, and the numbers may be off, but I found out that YouTube will pay you $7 for every 1,000 views.
Yep. Something like that. Mm-hmm.
You know how many views you got to get to really make money consistently?
Yeah. Like
And how many people are going to get that? Very few.
Because most of the people that get there, they're making videos every day for like a year before they even get close to being able to make something.
And even then,
it's not guaranteed.
You might not hit.
It's not guaranteed.
So,
and then you could get it taken away once you get there and have to start all over. I've seen that.
Which is the other thing that my generation, your generation, needs to understand. Because you don't build platforms yourselves, and because you can't make an iPhone, you are beholden to these platforms that will ban you at the drop of a hat, or demonetize your account at the drop of a hat.
That's why I'm part of a company that's helping that, because I agree. I've seen it. I've seen people lose 20,
So my point is, I'm going to go into all that.
You're good.
So my point is, the way we're thinking has to fail.
Yeah, I agree.
You ask how will it change? It has to fail.
Gotta follow
Enough people have to slam up against this wall for people to go, you know what? Maybe going to school ain't as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah. How do you see society handling that kind of failure? What does that look like?
Well, it happens all the time. This is how capitalism works. All these people think they're socialists. They're really acting like capitalists. This is how capitalism works. Money rushes in to new areas that are dark and unregulated, untested, right?
Yeah.
And if you're in first,
you make the most.
You make the most.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And the more people go into that area, the profit margin begins to drop. It becomes less profitable, harder to get into.
More demand.
It becomes saturated.
Yeah.
Right? And then investment has to find a new place.
That's what this rat race has been all along.
So right now, everybody thinks they can make a whole living. A whole living.
A whole ass living.
On social media.
Yeah.
And we have to get to the place where people realize you can't.
I can be one of the first people to tell y'all, even as an actor, somebody who's been in movies, shows, all of that, modeled, and I done worked with the biggest brands in the world. even me, just spending part-time trying to be an influencer, ain't easy at all. I don't care what you think I look like, what I've done, none of that. I promise you, the money that I thought I was gonna get by trying to use that avenue as a side hustle or whatever you wanna call it has not been what I thought it was gonna be. Why? Because it's probably just not meant for me in one way, but also in another way, it's not guaranteed. I don't know what some of the people that really make it happen on the highest level are doing, but I guarantee you they're not all showing you everything that they are doing.
And can I add to that? I'm not willing to do what they do.
And I don't give a damn what they did.
Successful. I am not willing to be a buffoon.
Exactly.
For people's entertainment.
And that's what I was about to
I
do.
ain't willing to do that. I am not willing to make an ass out of my heritage.
Mm-hmm. And
or
family.
my family.
Mm-hmm.
Just so I can get some likes and views.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
What do you think the most bougie state in the United States is?
This is black bougie or white bougie? There's a difference.
McMillan and Morrow.
I'm not black bougie. I'm trying to be.
You're just bougie.
I'm just too poor.
Every Thursday.
Listen, if I had more money, I would be so bougie.
You black bougie adjacent. All your friends are black bougie.
Exactly.
On Fox Soul.
I'm in the same boat.
I'm living vicariously through them.
TGIF.
Lil Wayne was not pleased with the reveal of his wax figure. He tweeted, "Sorry, Wax Museum, but that bleep ain't me."
Live and interactive.
Brittany T said, "That ain't Lil Weezy, that's Lil Asthma."
Hold on, Caller. You gotta see what Poppy said. Hell, the wax figure looks cleaner and better than the real Lil Wayne.
Serving up all the tea.
You so messy, Q. You are.
Join the chat on Fox Soul.
Y'all don't make the comments. I just read them, honey.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. You always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
What do you think, Aaron? Because I see you playing on your phone over there.
No, I'm switching.
See there?
This ain't my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he working. He working.
I was trying to get him.
He tried to get him.
I tried it, boy. I tried. I think
Aaron on top of it.
Is he playing on his phone?
Shout out to Aaron, always working, man. Aaron be on top of it, man.
Don't make me come over there, Aaron.
Don't worry, Aaron. I got your back. I ain't gonna let him throw his shoe.
No, because you two been hanging out.
Yes, I got Aaron back.
Everybody, they've been hanging out.
That's my man.
You know, they've been bowling because he's a big bowler. This one's a big bowler. And you bowl too?
Nah, you've been editing my show, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I might dip in.
Well, let's not do that now.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
And Jesus. You know, so now you rush into his defense, apparently.
It's my dog. You got to look out.
My dog. Now we're the dog. So let me ask you a question, because I do want to bring you into this. Okay. I did it in a facetious way. Have you ever wanted to be like a social media influencer person?
No. I've always hated having to put work in on social media. So I never, that's never an avenue I wanted to have to put work into, you know, because I know it's a thing you kind of have to do to put yourself out there, but that was never something I was interested in. Yeah, I like to just be on the creative side of things and, you know, do the things I love to do. And, you know, if people gravitate towards that, that's cool, but I don't like to, you know, force on people on social media too much.
Now, let me ask you a question. And again, give me general answers, nothing specific. When you were growing up, we all can answer this. When you were growing up, was there somebody in your life, in the house, outside the house, who monitored your educational development?
I mean,
Generally speaking.
You said outside the house?
Outside
anywhere.
the house.
Outside the house, inside the house, round the corner.
I mean, my parents generally, but I mean.
Fine, stop right there. That's all I need.
You know my mom did.
Yeah. So my mom did kinda, and then at a certain level, she realized she didn't have to.
Exactly.
Same story.
Right. Same story. Right.
Same.
But again, so we are, in my opinion, all of us, pretty well-rounded people. Like my sense of everybody in here is good people, good character, not a lot of guile.
Yeah.
There's a connection between the fact that, generally speaking, and I'm not saying your parents made sure you were a scholar and yours made sure that you got a Rhodes Scholarship. No. But generally speaking, someone was trying to figure out, were you learning?
Yeah. Did you learn something today?
I'm like, you are learning, right? And I'm saying that's important.
I agree. You know how my mom introduced it to me?
No.
The concept of wanting to learn. When we would go on vacation or we'd go somewhere new or we'd have a trip or something like that, on the way back, she would always ask me 3 things that I learned through that experience. And it kind of got me in the frame of thinking of like, okay, whenever I go through something, I can't just go through something and not reflect or take anything out of it. You know, that started becoming more and more pointless to me, where when I got through something or I experienced something new or I discovered something, I made sure I actually took the time to make sure I was comprehending something out of that situation that I was going to be able to grow from and learn from. And she really made it a habit, like every vacation.
But your mother didn't want you to be a dummy.
Exactly. But it translated into school too, because I couldn't just sit through class for all these hours and not have nothing to show for it. That was crazy to me.
Well, a lot of people are, and a lot of parents are not.
Because the time, you got to spend the time there anyway if you're there.
A lot of parents are not caring at the level that they should.
Yeah, I agree.
And we've gone on and on about this.
We are, and we can go to break in a second. But it's a serious topic, though, because we're talking about the future of our, not just country, but the world, and valuing actually
America
learning.
is in trouble.
Yeah.
And it's not just in trouble because of racism and sexism and poverty and heterosexism and transphobia. It's in trouble because we have spent hundreds of years valuing entertainment and devaluing a life of the mind. And it's going to catch up to us. It's catching up to us now.
Yeah, it is. I can see it.
Because people would rather entertain you or be entertained than they would wrestle with something that's actually serious.
And I like to think that our show is a testament of how you can be entertaining, but also still use your wisdom, your knowledge, all of those things, and still be entertaining. Because part of that can be is entertaining to people that actually have the intellect to keep up. You know? Something might not be entertaining to somebody that's a dummy if you got somebody that...
You've seen, let me cut you off, but you've seen the movie Malcolm X?
Yeah.
Remember the scene when Denzel is talking to Elijah Muhammad? And he has a 2-border?
Yeah.
And he says, Malcolm, our people... This is good acting, people.
Let's go.
Our people are like the cup. He says, he fills the cup up with water, clear cup. He says, if you give them this, they'll drink from it. Then he takes some ink and he pours the ink into the glass, right? You all saw it, right? He says, but Malcolm, if you feed them this, they'll drink that too. And the analogy is absolutely accurate. Whatever you think about Elijah Muhammad notwithstanding, if you feed people a steady diet of mess, then they become accustomed to it. Their internal organs adjust to the consumption of wasted and frivolous fat.
Invaluable.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, waste.
And you don't know that it's a problem until one day you realize you got something growing in your body that's going to kill you. And that's America. And on that note, people, we'll be right back.
What do you think the most bougie state in the United States is?
This is black bougie or white bougie? There's a difference.
McMillan and Morrow.
I'm not black bougie. I'm trying to be.
You're just bougie.
I'm just too poor.
every Thursday.
Listen, if I had more money, I would be so bougie.
You black bougie adjacent. All your friends are black bougie.
Exactly.
On Fox Soul.
I'm in the same boat.
I'm living vicariously through them.
Meet the scan. A simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Welcome inside the black box.
So you guys ready to have some fun?
Forget the acting studio. I'm here with you guys.
Creativity will find its way. It doesn't matter what the ethnicity is.
Television and movies are the mediums of stereotypes.
Just because we all have the same color don't mean we have the same experience.
Your uniqueness is your greatness.
Welcome inside the black box.
Every Monday on Fox Soul.
Want the best of Maury? Kevin, you are not. Want the best of the Steve Wilkos show? Would you take Dave back if you left Katie?
Want the best of Jerry Springer?
Just download Nosy on your mobile device or stream it on Pluto TV, Samsung TV, or the Roku channel. Until next time, America.
Welcome back, everybody. Whoa. We're back from break. He's on his phone, thirst trapping. Thirst trapping, getting people all hot and bothered.
Nah, not at all.
He showed us during the break the messages you guys send to him, and he responds, thank you for loving rich people.
They love you too, apparently.
But not as much. And in different ways.
No, they love them some Doc, man. I just stopped sending them to you because you'd be like, boy, if you don't quit sending me all these damn, you're like, you know I don't care about all of that extra stuff.
What did Maya Angelou say? If you don't pick it up, you don't have to put it down. I live by that philosophy. If you don't pick up the praises of people, you don't have to put down their criticisms. So you say whatever you wanted to say. I never picked it up anyway.
Yeah, but you do appreciate all of it, so don't
well,
misinterpret that.
I appreciate, no. I appreciate the impact we get to have.
Me too.
I don't do this show for a response. I do it for an outcome.
If we get a live audience,
and there's a difference. A response is what you say about whether or not you like what I've said or what you said or what you have on or what I have on. An outcome is that a person leaves the show thinking differently, feeling better,
learning something,
becoming something. That's the value of the show to me, not your response to any particular thing.
I love that.
Because sometimes we may disagree. Sometimes I may get on your nerves. But one response I got, I did read one, where someone said I was mean. You know, Dr. Sean, you're mean.
Some people think that initially, and then they keep watching and they're like, oh.
Yeah, they think I'm mean. And I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
you are a little mean sometimes.
Look. If you
like, look, I'm not denying
that's that New York.
If you were born and left in a garbage can,
wouldn't you?
You ain't gonna be warm and fuzzy.
Peaches and cream.
Yeah, you know, somebody lay your head on my shoulder. I had to fight to get here.
And it ain't for everybody.
And I don't think that I'm mean.
I don't think so either.
I'm direct.
Exactly.
And what I am is clear.
And some people interpret that as whatever they want.
But again, they have the right to interpret it.
Of course.
And they can respond however they choose to respond. But I don't do this show for a response. I do it for an outcome.
Yeah, and I'm grateful that the outcome has been something that people appreciate. People seem to be learning. People seem to be absorbing some of the things that we're doing. And like we were talking about before, we could get up here and talk about anything.
How about we talk about whatever we're supposed to be talking about?
No, we're about to go into this next
You
one.
just about to go into
No,
a
I'm not about to go
whole
into
thing.
a whole eulogy about
Was that mean, people? Was that mean? If it was, you know.
It was kind of mean because he get on me about cutting him off, but when he cut me off, it's completely fine.
No, okay. Okay.
They know. I ain't got to explain it. So we're going to go to the next one. We got 5 minutes left. And I just want you to take a wild
That's why
guess.
I cut you off, because we only got 5
I'm about to cut you off. So
See,
I got a question for you.
See? Who's mean?
What accent is the least attractive in the world, do you think?
I don't know.
Which one's the most attractive?
New Orleans.
Really? Yeah, everybody love a New Orleans accent.
I cannot resist the
They
New
so
Orleans
damn
accent.
country.
Well, yeah.
Baby.
Baby. What up, little baby?
Where you going, baby?
Oh, yeah.
Coming down to the NO.
Listen.
Little baby.
Listen. Irresistible.
You love the New Orleans
I just want to
accent.
hear you talk.
Just talk.
All day long. Just talk. Just talk.
So there was a study conducted, according to the Unilab.
Unilab?
Guess what? Yeah. Guess what was voted as the least attractive accent in the world? New York.
New York, yeah.
Which is surprising, though, because I know a lot of people that really love New Yorkers' accents. When they hear it, they're like, oh, my God. You know? And then to hear, you know, so many people feel differently is
Now,
kind of funny.
Are these people into S&M?
I was gonna say, but it's just a lot of aggressive to some people.
Right. Are they
but I
being
think that's what
tied
some
up
people
and-
like, because you don't hear a lot of women
and spanked.
You don't hear women in any other, accent speak
whipped.
the way New York women do. I feel like, for one,
Handcuffed?
probably actually.
Tickled.
Have you ever been handcuffed?
Not when I've wanted, yeah.
Oh. You want to talk about it?
You're like, not the way you're talking about. You're like, it's happened, but
they weren't fuzzy.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Exactly.
But not in the fashion that I think you're referencing based off of your context.
See, the benefit of an education, people. Pick that up.
Yeah, but I can't even say much better, though, because American Midwestern was among the least attractive, too. And I'm from the Midwest.
I don't think you have an accent.
That's the problem, I think,
I don't hear
is that we don't have one. Midwest people usually just have kind of
an amalgamous.
Yeah, we're kind of all over, and it's just universal. And I don't think that stands out to most people.
So my accent only comes out when I'm upset.
I know.
So when I'm mad because I sound like I'm from New York.
You dead ass?
Oh, it gets real.
All right, B.
You know that I'm
Son.
from New York. But normally, if you wouldn't even know that I was from New
No,
York.
for sure. And most people, I think, are surprised when we tell them, but then it makes sense because they're like, oh, he got a very New York personality, but he just doesn't sound like a New Yorker.
I do, listen.
You've been gone for a while, so it makes sense.
People, in real life, I'm actually warm and fuzzy. I'm a very loving person. Tell him.
He is.
See?
He's one of the most loving
See?
people I know. Truth be told, it really depends on who you are.
Okay, that's true.
But he mentioned in a prior episode, everybody can't love everybody the same.
Come on.
And that's Doc rubbing off on me, and that shows you the kind of love and impact that he has on me as a person, because I catch myself in moments.
Yeah, I'm warm and fuzzy, people.
Yeah,
I'm
sometimes.
just.
We ain't gonna go that far, but
You don't think I'm warm and fuzzy?
sometimes when you're wearing wool and
Wow. Wow. What is going on? My
you
Angela
are
said,
though.
if you don't pick it up, you don't have to put it down.
you like a big. How do I explain it? If I had to compare you, this will be fun. Let's do this.
I don't think I like to add
Let's do this.
big.
Let's do this before we end the show, because I think this will be
Just
cool.
because I adjust my fat on the show doesn't
No.
mean you call me big.
I'm not calling you big,
call
but
me
you
fluffy.
remind me of like.
If you say something big,
I got to think of something smaller now because because now I feel like you're just going to assume I'm only saying it because it's big, but
You can
it's
say
not.
bear.
Okay,
You're gonna
what
say
is
bear,
it?
weren't you?
So you know how you're like not like a teddy bear, but more like a polar bear. Very unique. Could be warm and fuzzy if it's a stuffed animal, but it's not. It's a living, breathing thing, and it's very rare to find people that can have that kind of appearance and presence, but also be as vicious and direct and all of these things. Not vicious.
I was about to say, you know, polar bears are some of the most deadliest animals.
But that's the thing.
That will eat anything.
But in your defense,
a polar bear will eat a person.
In your defense, your version of that would be intellectually. You can intellectually eat somebody up.
Okay, well, that's true.
And that intimidates a lot of people. Yeah. So, you know, that's where I would get the polar bear polarity from. But
you know what's interesting about this? Because now we're down a rabbit hole. When people meet me, they think that I want to have an intellectual.
That'd be the last thing.
And I don't want to do that. I get along much better with people who are just funny,
just themselves,
and not particularly, but you know, all of that. Just funny. I laugh.
Yeah.
We ain't matching wits.
Yeah.
I don't want to do all that.
What's so funny is most of our conversations are about just silly stuff. Like, we don't even get overly serious about most of the things we talk, but a lot of the things we do talk about, regardless of what it is grounded in something that has.
I have one close friend who even went to graduate school.
Really?
Yeah. That I'm actually now.
That you consider a close friend. Okay.
I consider a close
I was about to say, hold on.
Everybody else, you know, just regular run-of-the-mill people, because I don't need all that. I like good, funny, thoughtful. You can't be a complete dummy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
But if you're 6'5", I'm playing. So,
and on that note,
we're going to be bringing this home. But
it's time
one
to go.
thing I wanted to ask you. What animal would I be?
Otter.
Most of my friends said a koala. Most of my friends said a koala, believe it or not. I don't know why.
You're a tiger, remember? Big cat.
No, I can see you being a koala.
Oh,
really.
I shouldn't have put that in your head.
Really huggy.
What else would you give me?
You know,
you got to pick another one. That's a cop out.
How's it a cop out?
Because I sped it to you. If I didn't say koala, you probably would have gave me something else.
I feel like I'm being assaulted.
No, you would have gave me something else though if it wasn't koala. Come on, give me another.
Oh, wait a second. Aaron, you're not gonna come to my defense?
Leave Aaron out of this.
I come to your defense.
I'm starting to notice what your allegiance is.
This is between McMillan and Morrow.
Your allegiance is with Morrow, not McMillan.
Hey, one thing about me is I always keep it real.
Everybody equally, Doc.
We don't talk about this. Y'all go bowling and now y'all
okay. We cannot love everybody equally.
Leave it in the comments.
That was from the man himself.
I would say that you are a golden retriever.
Oh man!
I'm not gonna lie, my girlfriend would love that. But a golden retriever, that's pretty spot on. I'll take that, y'all.
Yeah, he's wagging his tail.
Great family dogs.
Scratching behind
Everybody loves them. When they're a puppy, they're the cutest in the world.
See there?
Yeah, I'll take a golden retriever, but I mean, I wouldn't mind like a husky.
Nah,
I'm not a husky.
Well, you call me a damn killing machine.
You're a polar bear.
Polar bear.
Lethal.
What animal would Aaron be?
I know which one mine is, but
he'd be the thing from Madagascar.
The
lemur
thing from Madagascar.
You know what I'm talking about?
The lemur?
The lemur.
I don't know what that is.
Show Aaron a lemur. What animal would Tyler be?
That's lemur.
That's a
Show
lemur.
Aaron.
Tyler.
Oh God.
Tyler would probably be like something strange out in the wild.
Yeah, he's got to be like
it's something
a
exotic.
Flamingo.
Yeah, or like a flamingo.
He's got to be some
like an albino
animal.
An alpaca or like an ostrich.
Oh man.
It could be an ostrich. That's a good one.
Ostrich.
Or
all right.
An emu is a little bit more exotic. An emu.
Yeah.
All right.
And on that note, we definitely wrap it up there.
Wrapping up, people. Thank you for tuning in. It's been real. Now we're all animals, which is what we are anyway.
So if you approach Doc, don't worry about being overly intellectual. Just say hi, smile, maybe even give him a hug.
Don't give me a hug.
Don't do that.
You would.
I don't know you.
Boy, you will get the funniest reaction you've ever seen. But on that note, it was fun, Doc. Until next time.
Until next time, people. See you soon.